Hey, cafeers. I just really felt God's leading to try and connect with you guys um, in light of what's happened yesterday. I know many of you are struggling or frustrated. I am. Some may be virtually unaffected, but in any case, I do think that we should try and connect and stay connected with each other when things are hard. So I'm sure there are those of you who are thinking, man, in my group, there's someone who's on the other side of this, and I just don't want to even be around them. I don't want to hear what they have to say. This is just conflict, and it's awkward, and I don't want to be around them. And there are probably some of you who are thinking, oh, this is proof. I need to show that they're wrong, this person or that person in my group. I know there are groups like that. I know yeah, we have that in our community. And so, how do we respond? What do we do? I'm thinking about Moses' interaction with God in the desert outside of Midian. And the Wednesday groups are actually studying this, I hope, or about to. When God comes to him and he says, basically, I've heard the prayers, the crying out of my people. I'm concerned. Basically, I'm really concerned about what you're concerned, Moses. I'm concerned about what you're concerned about. I hear you. I hear what's going on in your heart and your people's heart, and I'm with you. And your concerns are my concerns, and my concerns are your concerns. See, but Moses had those concerns years before when he lashed out and actually rashly resorted to violence, and he was exiled. And his concern is still there, but now it's different. He's been in the desert a while. So that's kind of what I wanted to call us to, and I think God is calling us to in the midst of this. We all have concerns, and we all think our concerns are his concerns and they're righteous. That is exactly how our nature works. I know I do. Honestly, I'll put my cards on the table here a little bit. I was sick to my stomach seeing people storm in last night. And it doesn't mean that those of you who think that was a righteous act I don't love. I'm struggling to love those who did that or who think that. But those are my concerns. I have real concerns. And all of us think. I mean, I heard the interviews of people who were a part of that, and they were using words of righteousness. This is justice. This is righteousness. We're standing in the face of injustice. They're using those words. Nobody thinks I'm going in here to evilly or in any evil way overturn something and just stoke the flames. I hope. I don't think. So, would we go through a time where we're willing to have our concerns sifted? That's what I'm calling us to, and I think God is calling us to. Where we would look and reflect and say, what is in there, Lord, that maybe is not righteous? Only you can show me what righteousness looks like. And in what ways maybe have I slapped my political agenda or my personal bias on top of you, Jesus? And this happened all the time. Pharisees, Sadducees, Herodians, Zealots, they all tried to slap their political agendas on top of Jesus, either by trying to manipulate him, use him, or seize him. In what ways are we? This is the question I think that we need to ask ourselves in our own hearts. In what ways are we trying to manipulate, use, or seize Jesus with our own political biases or agendas? So that's the first thing. Are we willing to look inside and sift through our own motivations and our own heart and say, God, show me where your righteous concern lies? And when we see that inside we have unrighteousness, it changes our approach. It changes our approach. It doesn't mean we do nothing. After that interaction at the burning bush, Moses does do something, but he does something in righteousness, not out of rash reaction. I even think of Jesus in Mark 1 when he meets the guy with leprosy, and it actually says that he has anger. He has anger and indignance. He's indignant. He has anger, and he turns that anger not on the man, but on the disease. He heals in anger. He reaches down and heals. He releases his anger in righteous, loving healing. So if we find that there still is this concern that we feel like is God's concern, there is injustice, not just in us, but there's injustice in the world, and there is. Are we willing then to release it in healing? to release it in loving healing. Healing relationships. Healing broken people and broken systems. Letting the gospel seep in and through us out into the world. Not in hate, but in love. I love what Martin Luther King says, one of my heroes. He says, you probably heard this quote, but returning hate for hate multiplies hate, adding deeper darkness to a night already devoid of stars. Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate can drive out hate. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. So this is kind of a call to unity, to love one another. I know it sounds cliche, but it's not. It's an internal work first, willing to listen to the work of the Spirit in our own hearts, to sift through our own self-righteousness, listen, repent, and then allow that love to stoke in us the work of healing, be a part of healing relationships. So moving into being with people, maybe in our group that we're not so sure we want to be with, and that may be God may be calling us to actually speak to them in love. God may actually calling you to hold back and refrain from speaking, realizing that you're not really in that place of love. God may be calling you to move out into the community. God may be calling you to be more active. God may be calling you to step back from things. So in this, I'm praying that we're going to be together, and I'm praying that we're going to be praying. That's really the thing, that we would allow this sense of concern to be released in loving healing through prayer, first and foremost. So let's join together in praying for our nation. I know that, again, it just seems obvious, but let's really join together praying for our nation, praying for each other, praying for our church in this world. Yeah, blessings to you guys, and yeah, I feel you. I feel you. And let's continue to seek the Lord as He is on the throne.